Students of standard 6, let's continue with the first lesson we had done last time. The title of the lesson is Let's Know History. Okay, in this lesson so far we have done about the sources of history. From where do we get information about history? Now what you have to study today is how did our country get its name? Okay, our country is known as either India or we call our country as Bharat. Okay, how did the word India come? Okay, India comes from the name of the river, that is river Indus. Okay, see nowadays only a little part of river Indus flows in Jammu Kashmir, the remaining part of the river Indus flows into Pakistan. But earlier it was all the same land. Okay, so there was an Indus Valley civilization also which you will study in the next few lessons. You will study about the Indus Valley civilization. So from the river Indus, India gets its name. Now see, people from Greece is in Europe, and people from Iran is in the western part of Asia. Okay, so people from these regions came to India. Now what did they do? They had to cross the river Indus and come on this side. Okay, so after the river Indus, the region that was there on the eastern side of river Indus, they called it India, and that is why our country gets its name India. Okay, this river Indus is also known as river Sindhu. Okay, Sindhu, the river, this Sindhu is a Sanskrit word. Okay, so either it is, this river is either called river Indus or it is called Sindhu, and our country India gets its name from the river Indus. And this was the word that was used by the people from Iran and Greece who came to India. Okay, we also know our country as Bharat. Now this word is mentioned in the Rig Veda. You will study about the Vedas also later on in this year. Okay, so the word Bharat is written in the Rig Veda. Now what is Bharat? Okay, Bharat was the name of a group of people that lived in the northwestern part of India. So through that group of people who lived in the northwestern part of India, see, northwestern part means almost like what we have, where we have Indus river and all that during the ancient times. Okay, so people who lived in the northwestern part of India, a group of people over there, the name was Bharat, and that is why our country gets the name Bharat. Okay, so on page number 3, the end of page number 3 of your textbook, that it's already written that we know our country by two names, India and Bharat. The word India is derived from the word Indus. Okay, derived means it is taken from the word Indus, or the Indus river, as I told you, is also called Sindhu, and Sindhu is a Sanskrit word. People from Iran and Greece were familiar with the Indus river. They came in contact with this region 2600 years ago. So how many years ago did these people come to India? Was 2600 years ago. The Iranians called the Indus river as Indus, and people of Greece called it Indus. They knew the eastern bank of the river as India. So all the region that came to the east part of river Indus, that was called India. And we also know our country by the name of Bharat, that is mentioned in the Rig Veda. It was a group of people who lived in the northwestern part of India. So see, all the main points are already written on the board. Okay, and the group is also mentioned in the early Sanskrit word Rig Veda. Rig Veda, when we will study about it, this is the oldest book that we have. Okay, in Sanskrit the oldest book that we have is the Vedas, and out of the 4 Vedas, Rig Veda is the oldest one. The next part of the lesson is concerned with dateline. See, a very important part of history is understanding when this event happened. Okay, so when people study history, we also have to study when this particular event happened. That is a very important thing. Okay, so say for example, the aspect of time is very important in history. If you have to study history, you also have to study when that particular event happened, the time and place. These two are important things. Okay, so see, if we have to write about the time today or the date today, we mention the date, the month and the year. This is how we write our date or do our day-to-day activities. Okay, and we also mention the day. When we study history, now see, when the historians started gathering all the historical material, They had to find out a common year from which they could arrange all the history of the whole world. Okay, so what did they do? That common year was taken as the birth of Christ. Throughout the world, the birth of Christ, now this year was taken to be, say for example, it was 0, and you already studied in the number line, you study in March, right? Say from 0, then you go further 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Okay, so if a particular event happened after the birth of Christ, it was written on this side. Okay, and if it happened before the birth of Christ, that event would be written on this side. Okay, now what did they do? If it is on this side of 0, then it is written as AD. AD means Anno Domini. And if it is written on this side, it was called BC. BC means before Christ. Okay. Say for example, this is the 1st century, 2nd century, 3rd century. Today we are living in 2020. Okay, so this year means it is 2020 years after the birth of Christ. Whatever events happened before that are written on this side. So, time is a very important aspect of history. I am reading page number 4. Events can be written along with time and place. We can relate time, date, month and year, such as say for example July 20, 2018 Friday. Okay, as per it, time is associated with birth of Jesus Christ. Birth of Jesus Christ. Who is Jesus Christ? He is the founder of Christianity. Means he is the one who started the Christian religion. We call it Anno Domini, means AD, which means after the birth of Jesus Christ. Example, 2000 AD means 2000 years after the birth of Jesus Christ. Similarly, BC means before Christ. For example, 2000 BC means 2000 years before the birth of Christ. Okay, so over here they are shown a date line 0. You consider 0 as the year which is the birth of Christ. Okay, so two things you learn. One thing is we start recording our history by taking the birth of Christ as the year 0. All the events that happened after that are called AD. All the events that happened before that are called BC. Now you already learned what is BC and AD. But nowadays these terms are not very much used. Instead of BC they use BCE, that is before Common Era, and instead of AD they use CE, that is Common Era. So nowadays in the books if you read, you read it as 2020 CE. They won't be writing AD, they will write CE. CE, remember, it is Common Era. This is BCE, before Common Era, and CE is Common Era. So CE means Common Era while BCE means before Common Era. As Christianity is associated with most nations of the world, we use the same date line in India as with the other nations. Now see, in India, Christianity is followed in many parts of the world. In many countries, Christianity is the major religion, okay, and that is why they started arranging their history with the birth of Christ, and so we also do it in the same way in India. We have also arranged our history by taking the birth of Christ as the year 0. Okay, and in some places nowadays you will even find the word BP, which means before present. But you should remember this at least. Nowadays instead of BC it's written as BCE, that is before Common Era, and instead of AD it's written as CE, that is Common Era. Just for a revision of what we have done throughout the lesson number 1. See, first of all we did about tools to know history. In tools to know history we read about the Tadpatras and the Bhojpatras. Okay, those were written on the Tadpatras were written on the leaf of the palm tree. Bhojpatras were written on the bark of the birch tree. Then we read about inscriptions. Okay, inscriptions are those engraved on copper inscriptions or stone inscriptions. Over here these are the stone inscriptions, mean things that were carved on stones, messages that were written on huge stones. And then copper plates means tamra patra. Tamra, as I told you earlier, tamra means copper. Then there are some ancient coins which are found while excavating. There are coins, old coins which are found from inside the earth. Those coins also give us a lot of information about history. Then the next thing we studied is the people who give us information about history. Who are the people who give us information? First is the people who systematically study history, they do research on history. Those are the historians and the archaeologists. What do? They study it systematically so that they give us the correct information about history. And next is we also studied about some of the travelers who came to India during different times, during the rules of different kings and from different parts of the world. We read from Greece, from China. They were travelers who came to India. And when they came to India, they wrote down what they saw in India. In their books, they wrote it down, and then those things also serve as a record of how we can study history or how we get information about history. Okay, and one more word. After this, I think you will be able to do the exercises that are given in the textbook at the end of your lesson. I have covered all these points in my explanations. One word that is there you may find confusing, take record, the word record. The word record suggests what? Text that is engraved on stone or metal. See, when we read about Tadpatras, Bhojpatras and inscriptions and all these things, which one do you think lasts for a long time are these inscriptions, the records? Why? Because see, Tadpatras, they were written on palm leaves, so they can get decayed after so many centuries. Even same way with Bhojpatras. Bhojpatras were written on the bark of the beech tree. Now that bark can also get decayed. Even in history it said that some of those Tadpatras and Bhojpatras were eaten away by insects and they were destroyed. But see, things which are written on metal or things which are written on stones, they cannot be destroyed. They can last for centuries together. So this is the record. The records are sources of history which are very long lasting, means they have been there for many years. See, though there are many places in India where we still find the Tadpatras and the Bhojpatras, but which one is more longer lasting, which one can go on for many centuries are these inscriptions, then engraving on metal. So records are text. Text means something that is written. Writing that is engraved on stone or metal, and as I told you, see, it's not written with any color, it is engraved. Okay, so that it goes on for many years. Okay, say for example you get some new utensil at home. You must have observed when your parents buy a new utensil at home, what do? That person who is selling those utensils, they'll write the name of your family or the name of your parents on that particular utensil. You know, they use a particular type of a machine through which they can write it. And what is that? Engraving. Okay, even if you wash the vessel many times, it won't go away. So ask your parents to show you something like that. Okay, so that is a way you can find out that, see, things which are written on metal, see, it's not written with any color, it is engraved. So things which are engraved on stone or on metal, they last for a longer time, means they stay for many years. So this is the end of the lesson number 1. Try to solve the question answers and all that. These are given at the end of the lesson. I've covered all the question answers, fill in the blanks and everything in the videos that I have sent you.